Yeah.
I call Josh Hart Atomic Dog. Every time I see him play, I see bow wow wow yippee oh yippee yay bow wow wow yo yippee yay. I hear every time I see him come on the court. I said that should be his theme, Atomic Dog.
And it's another edition of Hoops Adjacent on the Athletic NBA Show. David Aldridge and Windy Ass DC. Is windy up here today. Marcus in the Bay. What's up, sir?
Yeah, man. We out here in the rain. You complaining about wind?
Yeah.
You know
Y'all complain about everything. I didn't
I
say I
know.
was complaining about it. I just said it was windy.
I need that Cali sun back, man.
Supposed to be windy.
Got the atmospheric river up there.
You know what I'm saying? The voice you heard. I'm just going to say this because this is a sentence I never thought I would utter in my lifetime. Chuck D is on my podcast. God damn.
I'm usually fanning out on the other side of the screen, checking y'all out. So, man, especially you and your bro and everything. So I'm honored to be here.
Man, I appreciate it. Marcus, when Chuck started following me on Twitter, I was like, what? Chuck following me?
Well, shit.
Hey, Chuck, DA trying to act like he ain't a legend too, man.
No,
he trying to act like
right?
he, you know what I'm saying?
I know, right?
You David Aldridge, man. You
David
out
Aldridge.
here.
What the fuck,
You a Hall of
right?
Famer.
Dude,
right?
No, I appreciate the love. I sincerely do, coming from you, man, because you're a hero of mine, man. And look, I want to plug your PBS special, Fight the Power, How Hip Hop Changed the World. It's on PBS, 4-part series. Check it out. It's on Amazon Prime if you don't want to do the PBS route. Man, dude, that had to be a labor of love, but labor.
Yeah, but I feel like a fraud, like Abia Doon of The Last Poet said, because the team that did so much work, research, Yemi and Danielle from the UK, part of the BBC squad. Yeah. And then, my partner, Laurie Buller. They pulled out all the stops. She's from the Bronx. I'm from Long Island. So I can't claim no Bronx. Right. I can't even claim Harlem, where my parents are from. But I was there, in hip-hop. I'm not in awe of hip-hop being 50 years old because I got 12 years on hip-hop. So I seen it as a little kid on a tricycle and making sure cats don't drive it into the ditch. So I always got to bring up the facts. That today, I was surprised Melly Mel is still trending.
Yeah, I saw that this morning. I saw you talking about that. Yeah.
Because people could talk about like OGs are irrelevant or whatever, but old G's ain't saying that. So
yeah,
only young heads are saying that. And rightfully, maybe they should, because we get the same conversations that happen in sports and entertainment. They've been happening in sports for years, especially in boxing. Everybody's always trying to compare boxing. Well, you can't compare this boxer to that boxer, not in real time, because that boxer wasn't born yet. Or maybe he could have beat his ass when he was an infant. You know what I'm saying? So it gets stupid after a while.
Of course it does. Yes.
So Melly Mel, Melly Mel is like, regardless whether you love him or hate him, he was hard on me in my beginnings.
Yeah.
And I came in 87. He already been out recording music for 8 years. He's the vet. It starts with him. He's the first dominant MC rapper, period. He's Wilt Chamberlain. There is no precedent. And his first 5 years as a recording artist, it was like the second was like Mo D, and he's a far distant second. So the parallels, because I'm a sports head and because I'm a rap head since the beginning, I make these parallels. And the young head, if they don't understand what was back then, they can't get the analogies. But if you love hip hop is always about parables and analogies. So if you got, the key line in all this is like the great Melvin Van Peebles, when he actually did the movie Posse with his son, Mario Van Peebles, he says the classic line, I've been your age, you ain't never been mine. So, I was very clear back then. I'm very clear who's doing whatever now. So this whole Melly Mel thing is just interesting and funny. But I was like saying that his whole dominant period, he was hard on me. As a matter of fact, he was harder on me and KRS than any of the cats today. He's actually nice. He came at us, hardcore. But that was that officer and the gentleman ish. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
it only makes.
I want your DOR.
Yeah, mayonnaise. I was mayonnaise like a mug, bro. And if you make this analogy today, you might have a young cat staring at you like, officer and a gentleman. What the hell are you talking about?
Right.
Like, what the hell? So everybody got their stage and their era where they could relate, but I'm a historian. So when it came down to that four-part series on PBS, the team came up with that, but it fell in line in all the things I had said all these years as being a gatekeeper of the art and the culture. I'm not going to have a conversation in the boardrooms, executives, corporations. No, that was Laurie Buller. Excellent job. Brought the team together, and they just threw it to me in the post, bro. And I did my thing.
With the drop step and the up and under, huh, for a bucket.
And all that, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's the team. I'm not going to have a conversation about the culture with a cat that don't get it. It's wasting my time. I'd rather sit at this desk and drink watermelon juice, bro. Do that. So it's all about putting together a team. So it was PBS, it's public television in the United States of America, but more importantly, it's BBC around the world. So that combination of PBS and BBC was the thing that made how hip hop changed the world work. And that's the important, word in hip hop. I mean, Fight the Power, how hip hop changed the world. The important word is world. And and it's still going on. And because today is a different time, it's no longer, I gotta hurry up and get home and check this out. If I don't check it out, I miss it. I mean, it's everywhere. It's on your gadgets, your phones.
I gotta be home for Friday night videos.
Yo, back there, if you missed it,
you missed it.
You missed it.
Yeah.
And you felt hurt, right? And you felt hurt up when everybody gave you the info or the intel after it. So we're in some times where I feel that technology is a tool rather than a toy, especially if you're older, and we can embrace these things and not let these things take over and rule us. And that's what the younger generation, they got that in front of them, and they got to figure out how they dance with it, because when you have artificial intelligence rising up like yeast, but also dumbassification and convenience and laziness, you got a societal problem that you gotta the prey to entangle.
Man, it's crazy. My kids would rather watch somebody play a video game than play the video game themselves. That's crazy to me. It's crazy.
It was one of the saving graces that I never got involved with video games because I understand the power. And I probably, I'm thankful that it didn't exist when I was young because I would never left the house. I'm like, why?
Well, I had the little Mattel electronics thing. You remember that little?
Oh God,
that was our video game.
We didn't have a choice, man. I was at the early stage of video games, but my daddy was like, "Get outside. You got to go outside." We was getting kicked out the house.
Yo. I mean, that's what engaged me into music being in my DNA. Because I wanted to go outside, but my mom said, do the chores around the house. My pops co-signed that. And therefore, the record player is just playing all day long, especially on the Saturday. You doing chores, so you getting Aretha, James Brown, Miles Davis, and you better not touch that record player.
We was Anita Baker, baby. Anita Baker, Whitney. That was the cleanup music.
And this where BED comes in play. Like, you better not touch that record player. And I was at a time where 45s are still playing. So, the 45, DA know this. And the 45, and my mom is doing something, and I'm doing it, and the same 45 be playing over and over. I'm but I better not touch it.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
So if you want to avoid Stevie Wonder superstition for the 500th time in a row, gotta do them chores and get your whatever out there.
Man,
what's cool about it though? So my daughter is like low key upset at you because she got to write a paper now. But so we watching this thing, and she's a theater kid, and she did Chicago, so she knows Queen Latifah from Chicago.
Right.
One of my favorite parts about all of it is like the proper podium for the women artists, right? And the real conversations that was happening. You should have seen her light up when she's like, "Wait a second, Queen Latifah," like, but you know, she's 15. I was like, "Oh yeah, put you up on game." Now you got to write a paper though, so she wasn't too happy, but she lit up when she saw Moni and them. Yeah, she lit up. It was nice.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like we had the topics. This is something that, you know, the long tail is that you can have something like this go into 10 episodes.
Sure. Could
We
be as
got
long
big.
as you want it, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things you got to look at, you know, people who are skilled and professionals and OG and goats in their territory, like, you know, regardless of the criticism he receives. But to me, Kim Burns been a goat because he's designed his own technique of documentary that has crossed centuries. You know, you can see this stuff around me. I don't keep books and DVDs and for like wall. They're not wallpaper to me.
Yeah.
They are examined, they are digested, and they are used as use into the future, not just being of the past. So I'm always finding parallels. So, you know, Ken Burns he's found ways to make documentaries in the days where, you know, today people listen with their eyes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they don't listen as well as past generations listened or read, although they read text or things, but it's almost like the 3-card money game they used to do at downtown Manhattan, man. It's like we're gonna make you keep your eyes on something that I will make disappear.
Yeah.
So they listen with their eyes, but their digital knowledge means that I could make it appear and disappear. Exactly. I could make you guess, like, did I read that yesterday? Mm-hmm. How come I can't find it no more? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where a book is frozen in your time.
That's right.
It's frozen in your time, which means that you could try again. You reading, but can you comprehend it?
Yeah.
Digital timing might not give you enough time for comprehension. So they'll give you comprehension, which is really opinion. So the opinion is already laced in what you're looking at, and they'll guide you into that opinion. That's what made the last election so scary. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. No doubt.
Yo, man, listen. It wasn't one of those, that wasn't a blowout.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
right.
Damn, like it was OT.
Right.
You know,
OT. He won like with a couple of late free throws, you know what I'm saying?
Really, man. Right? Like with a rigged audience, you know, right? Like, yo. And run out by the arena, Biden.
Right. Don't let that's right. That's right. No,
I personally, I don't see how somebody is 81 going to be the president of the United States.
Dude, this ageism ain't no joke, man. Them cats, they don't even pretend like they're not being ageist. You know what I'm saying? Like, get this old MFR out of here.
Man, they was calling him sleepy at 72.
You know?
Well, yo, man, I would be sleepy too.
Right?
Yo, man, I don't, you know, I've been to 116 countries, many of them because they wanted me to go there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I just think that governments in this day and time are so outdated that every single government on the planet needs to have a reboot. But then again, once upon a time, they came up with the idea of the United Nations.
Yeah.
Which is this building that's still there on the east side of mid-Manhattan.
Yep.
That they might as well turn into lofts and condos, because what kind of jurisdiction is coming out of that building?
Yeah. Well, just look at climate change and how impossible it is to get the most minimum shit redone in a way that could help 3% of the planet. You know what I mean?
Agreed upon. Like,
right. You know what I mean? Like, there's still some basic shit that we can't get done.
And the reason why it's so important is because we have, as they say, until bionics really increase, that we have lesser time ahead of us than we have behind. But we're talking about your 15-year-old, my youngers, my grandchildren, child, and children to come, or whatever. We're talking about that world, because one of my OG mentors, the great Harry Belafonte, just coincidentally turned 96 last week. He said Paul Robeson said to him when he was like, "Oh, Paul, like, what do I do?" And Paul just looked at him like, every generation got to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah.
Really serious, because they be living in real time.
Sure.
So they could borrow and get advice and all that, but really seriously, I have to be able to give the tools to, you know, to my what do you call it? Next ones that in line, children and younger people, give them tools and also be able to give them some idea to see through the fog and the haze of it all. And this is it's going to be a very, very tricky 7 years ahead to 2030.
No
tricky.
doubt.
I didn't say hard.
Yeah.
Probably going to be hard, but it's going to be tricky. Like
it could go in
song.
a lot of different directions if we're not careful. Most of them are bad.
bro, we can't even predict 2024. What does 2024 look for us as far as the United States of America making a decision on who's going to govern what?
Right. This is some fun, and it's some fundamental shit too. It's not like it's crazy to me. Like this just was 2012. You had Barack Obama, who is a fairly liberal but somewhat centrist Democrat, with Mitt Romney, who's a pretty conservative but fairly centrist Republican. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They're twins.
You know what I mean? Like the country wasn't gonna go off the rails if Mitt Romney was president. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't agree with a lot of the stuff he did, but we'd be all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, they were so similar, and as far and also they had the youthful blood in them.
Yeah, right.
To be able to deal with the job of really, as we say, GAFing.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
I saw a post on my bro Ice-T's. He said, the best way to alleviate any stress is not GAFing. You know what I'm saying? Giving a, you know what I'm saying? So
that's Shaq's whole thing. I do GAF.
Exactly. And you see that those people ain't stressed out because they feel they have no accountability or responsibility to anything. So of course you could be loud. The world is your weed. The world is a joint. So, but when you have to look out for other people, look out for those that have not, be able to be concerned about your fellow man and woman and child and also everything that else that has to live off this planet, it could be stressing. Because you give a
yeah, no doubt. It's funny you mentioned one of the best answers I ever got was one time I asked Robert Ory. I said, Rob, like you the king of the playoff shot, you the king of the big shot,
right?
How did you approach that? And he literally said, I ain't give a shit if the basket if it went in or not.
Bro, that's like a secret to life, though, right?
Right.
It's like you go on stage, right? You got to sort of like go on stage and say, "Yo, man, this is who I am. Let's go."
Yeah.
Yes, you have to prepare. Yes, you have to practice. Yes, you have to rehearse. Yeah. Yes, you have to have your thing down. But one of the beautiful analogies why this is cross-cultural is like. The thing when in my mind, I'm, if I'm hitting a stage prime time, I'm like, like you always think about the Michael Jordan in practice thing.
Yeah.
Same thing applies. Tom Morello, a Rage Against the Machine, who was our commandante on Prophets of Rage. He's relentless in practice to the point like you're in practice and you're like, are you kidding me, bro? Yes, let's go. Another take. So by the time it's showtime, man, it's like, yo, man, it's nothing that's going to stop us. Yeah. But we also have the attitude like, okay, we don't care what you think because we know it's going to be dope.
Yeah.
That's like that's best. That's just the best, right? Like, yo, I'm free. I'm liberated from your opinion.
Oh, yeah. And the thing in the whole thing about in performance, you got to smash the opposition. Matter of fact, you want people to not like you so you can win them over in that hour.
Right.
That's the challenge. It's like I want you to not like this, so I could beat you over the head with this performance, which made you came in with doubts and made you leave like, oh my God, it's almost like Michael Jackson.
Oh, so you always the road team is what you say.
Always the road team, man. Always, man. Come in there. And the sports analogies always befit me. If I had to say, in my prime, when I had to hit the stage, who did I think like? Alonzo Mourning.
Right.
It's like, Alonzo Mourning. Charles Barkley, Charles Oakley, all the power players in the
Yeah,
NBA.
he
Like
love,
go
yeah.
there and go there, Shaq, dunk on the crowd. Yeah, I ain't got no flow. It ain't no flow. I'm trying to bring the
I'm just
Raptors down.
elbowing listeners in the
Yeah, yeah,
mouth.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I don't have anything that your wife or child might like at first. It's nothing. Hide them, get them out of the way. It's coming.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, you always gotta prepare yourself because you have to also set a difference between you and the next performer before and after. So the whole key is not being better or worse, it's just being different and sticking out and being the best at your difference.
Yeah.
You know, making sure you leave like I don't know if I liked it, but damn, I remember it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
and you know, I pretty much a big fan of Big Shot Bob. Yeah, it's almost like, yo, man, got to take shots at the basket, man. You already prepared. Take shots at the basket.
Exactly.
Man.
Yep. I'll never understand that about dudes that are reluctant to shoot. I always say that shit might go in. Let it go.
You have the same thing in performance. You got the same thing in performance, and also people. You have what we call it legend lock, where there's certain legends out there afraid to put anything out there because their standard is so high, but their shots at the basket is low. So they're going off of some legendary time before. And I'm like, well, you're an artist. You got to keep the legend lock. You can't get locked up into the box that somebody else gave you. That's a coffin. Keep making recordings. Keep going and hitting the stage with the same vigor. Yeah, and don't stop worrying about people loving you. You already got your family and your friends. What are you worrying about somebody? You know, don't try to. The number one rule of social media, especially, is like, do not argue with strangers.
That's a great. I need to learn that point.
Don't argue with strangers. Your first thing you heard from your people, your parents or uncles, whatever, don't talk to strangers. But social media allows us to have conversation with strangers. So we got to choose, you know, our conversation with strangers because really you're mad at the theme. You're not really, you don't know the person from a box of crayons, man, melted on a high radiator. So you're just like, all right, you know, we're having a debate, but now it's getting personal. But you know, I'm gonna shave this personal thing, and I won't get mad at you because you are a stranger. Yo, but I know you. No, you know of me. You don't know me, but you know we could get to know each other maybe in this lifetime, but maybe not. So let's be cool right now and here.
Today's show is brought to you by Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/NBA Show 22 for more information. What's better than finding quality candidates? How about finding them instantly? For a powerful hiring partner, you need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills when you can do it all with Indeed. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. You hate waiting? Indeed's US data shows over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. Something I love about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy because of Instant Match. Candidates you invite to apply through Instant Match are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to US Indeed data. Indeed knows that when you're doing everything for your company, you can't afford to overspend on hiring. Visit Indeed.com/NBA Show 22 to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/NBA Show 22. Indeed.com/NBA Show 22. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Man, I gotta shift gears, even though I don't want to, but I do have to ask you about your Knicks. Your Knicks are on fire, bro. How do you feel about that? Like, what is your
I'm scared because we got all these people now loading up the bandwagon. I mean, the bandwagon's heavy, man. We got like 3 flats, man. It's like, yo, like stay away. I mean, I can't, you know, I stay with my people, you know, in the fan seats of a young guy that he started Knick Fan TV.
Yeah,
you know, his name is
CP.
CP the fan.
Yeah,
man. I'm the biggest fan of his, and I've been in like the Knick Fan TV mosh pit. So you know, I'm an OG, so I don't get it. I don't call all the time, but I'm always putting my chats in and stuff like that. But I really enjoyed watching his growth because CP, the franchise, and Knicks Fan TV, they started in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So they was actually doing their thing with 17 win seasons. And
wasn't a lot of meat on that bone, was
man, and you got to come on post game, and and I'm taking the ride, with them. A couple of years later, I joined before the pandemic, and I'm taking the ride with them, and a little bubbles up, a little bit bubbles up. There's people that were pissed off about trading Porzingis, and what do we do? And we should tank. And me. Since I'm a sexagenarian now, that sounds kind of fly, right?
Sexagenarian.
Yeah, no, sexagenarian.
Yeah.
Because that's what's when you're in your 60s.
Yes.
That's what it is, right?
Yes.
So you're on your way, Mr. Thompson. But
I'm taking my time, baby. I'm slow walking this thing.
But sexagenarians do not wait for teams to tank. We ain't got time like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We ain't got time for my team to tank. I don't know what that means. I think the NCAAs is finally getting back to stride where we could trust it post-pandemic. We couldn't really trust anything in the pandemic because ain't nobody going to school. People ain't training together. You had empty arenas of different activities. So we as Knicks fans went through that period and like everybody else, and we're like, okay, where are we? Where are we at?
Yeah.
And Julius Randle and that trade for Porzingis and the draft pick that happened to turn out to be Emmanuel Quickly.
Yes, sir.
We've been riding with that for the last couple of years and back and forth. And when Julius Randle had that incredible year 2 years ago, we was happy, but then people were saying, well, empty arenas half the time. And then the first game, we lost to the Hawks in that series and all that. So, and then it was the Julius Randle last year.
Yeah.
But I feel that, and I'm trying to close it to a point and be quick. New Yorkers, man, we don't do well with bought superstars, man. A star in New York has to almost be like kind of crafted and created in a certain type of mold. Homegrown, but maybe molded enough where they got enough and they ain't coming in with a lot, which is Jalen Brunson.
That's Brunson, right.
And everybody was screaming, go get, Donovan Mitchell, who we all love as a local, hero and all that. But how many people were watching that series with Dallas and Utah? So when we got Jalen Brunson, I was screaming. And then I was like, okay, now we're going to try to go get Donovan Mitchell too. It's like, it just doesn't work. It's the start of my go get Melo thing. It's the, we got Hayward, now we got to get McAdoo thing. And I've seen this over a 50-year period. And my team won when I was 12. I'm 62 now. So I'm like saying, it's like quick tricks and superstars. It might have worked for Steinbrenner in baseball.
Yeah.
Which he found out in the 90s that, seriously, maybe a combination of organics and stuff and they turned out to be the best Yankee teams over the bought Yankee teams. Right. But that's baseball. Basketball, it ain't never worked.
No.
Us go get a superstar and we're going to win with a superstar. It's usually came with somebody with an edge, a.k.a. Bernard King, comes back to the New York area with a little bit of the edge because he was there as a net. And just couldn't handle the intensity of being home and then being in the microwave city of New York. And he had to get up out of there. Came back as a Knick with a vengeance. Nothing could stop him. Same thing with Julius Randle. Yeah, he went through that thing last year. And somebody must have told him, said, bro, you're almost there. Because to be a star in New York, you got to probably get another layer of skin. You can't, that layer of skin ain't going to come from a superstar from somewhere else because how you know if they're going to handle the mic? I used to call, I still call Madison Square Garden microwave square garden. Yeah. It's a microwave, man. Every second going to burn you if you ain't right in there. Living in New York is tough. You just can't live in New York. I mean, it's like on you all the time. So I felt when the Knicks got Jalen Brunson, I felt that And who am I? I'm just a fan in the cheap seats. I felt that we had enough, and we had enough of that core of familiarity. That's what I got out of watching Boston last year. That Brad Stevens brought back some old heads that were familiar. He
Yeah.
brought
Yeah.
back Horford. You know, he says, you know what? I'm going to win this with familiarity, with people who are used to playing with each other and looking at each other, while the NBA has got cats moving here, there, and
Right.
everywhere,
Right.
all over the place. Same thing with a band, David and Marcus. When does chemistry set in with a band? You ain't got no chemistry as a band, man. I'm sorry, you ain't playing right. You might have the players with the chops, but they not seeing and hearing each other. And it's gonna take some reps before you. All right, dun 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 dun. Like when you hit the one, everybody's hitting the one. That you it's telepathic. I felt that with everything in free agency and players choosing teams and all that. They missing everybody being on the one. You got the top notch talent, but they don't see and hear each other yet. And I just felt with the Knicks kind of staying put with a little addition. Now, can this dude handle the heat and also the hate and the intensity? Jalen Brunson with his dad, Rick, and also Julius getting that extra thing. I think it was almost like addition by subtraction. It was almost like, okay, familiarity with a little bit of oomph. And now you got cats that's coming in and understand what their roles are. And trust me, I was tough on Tibbs as far as a fan, because here's my thought process, and I'll end my Nick talk on this. I thought that the NBA having 15 players a team and the style of the ball that's played today, you got to have 12 players, man, because injuries with this type of style of play, it's either one or two ways to go. You got to at least have an expanded roster, or your conditioning got to be Pat Riley like Pat Riley throwing up in vomit with vomit baskets or whatever. So because if you don't have the two, that means injuries are going to be everywhere. And that's why I thought that maybe the way to go on this type of NBA is that you got Taylor Jenkins type style of he using like 22 players, you know what I'm saying? Plus his one or two superstars, right? So maybe that's the way. And Tibbs was basically like, dude, I tried that. Ain't gonna work. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get my 9. Be lucky and happy you ain't looking at a Pat Riley 7.
Right. Play 8, trust 7. Win with 6.
And I'm gonna run this car. Like when you get a flat, yo, Marcus, you in the Bay, you familiar with this. You get that flat, but you gotta get home and yo, man, I'm gonna ride the rim for a minute till it spark. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go. No question.
Tibbs is gonna ride this car with 4 flats, man. He's gonna ride the rims until it just spark up. I mean, he ain't going back. He ain't going back to the expanding the 10, 11. Yo, man, it's done. So he gonna drive this the way it is, and so therefore that won me on Tibbs, because he just played OG hardhead. Like, yo, I don't care what anybody think. This is my style, and I'm gonna run it into a ground, because if I don't exceed, I ain't gonna. There's no way. I don't even know how to work with 12 players. I don't know how to do that. I know how to work this way, and if I'm gonna get fired, I'm gonna get fired. It was back to the Robert Horry, like, I don't give a damn type of thing. And ever since that, you get a dog like, I call him the atomic dog. Every time I see him play, I'm like, and before I used to always watch Josh Hart on the Lakers, and then he was on the Pelicans. He was that extra player, whatever, Portland. But coming with that mentality, seeing his homeboy Brunson and coming to the Knicks, Josh Hart turned, and he looking at his stage and age like, dude, I could have a whole city love me for doing what I do,
like,
in a different way.
Yeah.
Love me for this. Yo, I call Josh Hart atomic dog. Every time I see him play, I see bow wow wow, yippee yay, bow wow wow, yo, yippee yay. I hear every time I see him come on the court, I said that should be his theme. Atomic dog. Because he's the atomic dog. And he understands, like, yo, he's in the, I don't think he's ever realized that he's in the perfect place for him to what he want to be.
Right.
He ain't got to end up double digits. He ain't got to start, even though that would be cool when RJ gets his thing together. But Josh Hart, the king, you want to talk about opportune time and locking into the chemistry? I remember, and my last note on this, seriously, I remember as a kid, first liking the Knicks at the knee of my father. And I used to like how Howard Komar's name sounded. Komar's with the Marv Albert. Komar's with the side.
I was going to say, was it
Marv
Marv or Jim Carvelis you were listening to?
No, it was Marv.
Okay.
Marv did the radio games back then too. So Komar's, and then we had Walt Bellamy.
Yeah.
And I used to say, Bellamy, Bells, and Komar's. I just like, I'm 8 years old, so I ain't an infant, but that's when I first started liking it. And then we traded Howard Komar's and Walt Bellamy, future Hall of Famer, for Dave the Butcher.
Yeah.
And I said, well, we got a butcher. Why do we have a butcher? Dave the Butcher. Why is his name the Butcher? and I used to call Willis Reed Rebound Reed, because that's all it Rebound Reed. Reed.
Right.
But I remember when we got Dave the Butcher, and the Knicks just could not be beat.
Took off.
Until we faced this team called the Celtics, and they made me cry, because I was like, we're supposed to beat them, Daddy, because they're old. Nah. Bill Russell wasn't having it.
No, he wasn't having that.
But the next year, so I felt the same way. And I was trying to tell the cats on Knicks Fan TV, it's hard for me to explain, because I'm talking 55 years ago.
Right.
And that's just half a century, right? But I felt when Knicks got Josh Hart, I felt feels the same way.
Okay.
And I can't, like, that one piece that, like,
makes everything work. Puts everybody in their right spot. That is the key to basketball, is everybody playing in their right spot. Starter, position, minutes, what they can handle.
And complement each other.
Yeah.
Chuck, I didn't know Jalen had this level in him. I didn't know, that you talk about dogs.
Did you saw the playoffs, Marcus? Did you see the playoffs?
Yeah, I did.
But you a Warrior fan?
I grew up a Warrior fan. Yeah.
Wait. You grew up a Warrior fan. What happened?
Well, you gotta abandon
when you cover them, man.
You cover them, you can't be a fan.
It don't work the same. It don't hit the same. It's like,
okay, all right, yeah, okay, all right.
I'm more of a Chris Mullin, Tim Hardaway.
Run DMC.
But today's show is brought to you by Indochino. Visit Indochino.com and use the promo code AthleticCBB to get 10% off any purchase of $399 or more. Wedding planning is intimidating, but finding the perfect suit just shouldn't be. Indochino makes it easy to get a fully customizable suit right from home. I personally got some custom tailored shirts from Indochino recently, and they fit me perfectly. They become my go-to button-up. It's hard to find off-the-rack clothes when you have broad shoulders and long arms, guys. Well, Indochino will let you decide the suit you've always wanted to have and fine-tune every single detail. From lapels to linings, monograms to pocket flaps, you can get whatever you want at Indochino, with suits starting at just $499 and fitted shirts at $89. It's bespoke without the premium price tag. You just set up your measurement profile on their website, choose the fabrics and customizations that you want, and then you get them delivered right to your door. When planning your wedding, get a suit as unique as you with Indochino. Go to Indochino.com and use the code AthleticCBB to get 10% off any purchase of $399 or more. That's INDOCHINO.com. Promo code AthleticCBB.
I didn't know he could, the last time we saw the Knicks, looking serious, Trae Young come in the building, he's Mr. Villain. And they ain't really have nobody to go at him like that, to go bucket for bucket with him.
They should have kept Elfrid Payton, but Elfrid Payton could not. I mean, the New York fans melted him right out of the lineup. It was hard, man. It was
that microwave. That's that microwave.
Yeah, man. It was and his moms was up there don't talk about my boy. And he just got jettisoned into another galaxy. And then now we're going to depend on our OG, who comes off the bench, who's killing us at leading the second unit. Now we're going to depend on Derrick Rose being our main dude along Randall. It was a disaster, man. It just could not.
But you feel like Jalen can do that, right? You think Jalen could be like, all right, let's go. Like
yo,
whoever
man,
it is.
I ain't seen. Listen, when I saw him last year against Utah, I was like, this is beyond Luka. And I'll tell you another thing. I ain't seen footwork by somebody that small in the post as Adrian Dantley. Because I never could understand how Adrian Dantley did it. DA.
Yeah, no, that's
Adrian Dantley, how?
They called him teacher for a reason, man.
Underrated scorer,
that's what they called him teacher, man.
The dude Adrian Dantley 6'4", man.
Yeah.
Where he getting the ball and you can't stop him, and nobody ever could stop him.
No.
I'm like, how could that happen?
No, because he had the footwork was impeccable, and AD was much stronger than people realize. AD was a strong cat, man. So if he got you on his hip, that's it. It's a wrap, man.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
That's Jalen Brunson. I've seen Jalen Brunson get the ball in the post at 6'2".
Yeah.
And just shivvy the hell out of cat 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, man, how does he end up with like up and under at 6'2" out of 3 dudes at the basket? I'm like, that's some other stuff.
You can tell a dude when dude always winds up square, no matter how he starts to move, he's squared up to the basket when he lets the ball go. That's Jalen. that's AD.
Yo, and when I, of course, today when I'm making the AD references, cats is like staring at me, like
I'm not.
It was like right. That's the only, of course, somebody might say, well, the footwork or Kevin McHale, but Kevin McHale's like a crane,
right? 7'2", 6'10".
Yeah, exactly. But the footwork of Adrian Dantley. And every year, like clipping 30.
Yeah.
I'm like, how?
I was actually thinking of the dude who replaced Dantley. I get Mark Aguirre vibes.
Oh,
yeah.
Somewhat.
Especially that mid-range pull-up, because Jalen will go 100 miles an hour, stop on a dime, and that thing is money, man.
Yeah,
it is nonstop.
But Dantley was uncanny, because I don't remember anything of Dantley hitting outside 15 feet.
No. Yeah, exactly. That wasn't his kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Like AD was.
AD what?
AD was not. The reason why people don't remember was because he wasn't flashy. He just come in and give you 28 and go home. Not one highlight. There'd be 0 highlights.
Big salute to Adrian Dantley, man. Because every time I see Jalen Brunson, I think of Adrian Dantley down low. Now, of course, he's a guard. He got all these other attributes going for him too. But when he gets that ball down low, it's like, I'm like, what is that, sorcery?
Yeah. No, that's just, dude, he learned, we both went to DeMatha. He was about 10 years ahead of me, but, dude is a legend, man. I mean, like, he learned Morgan Wooten fundamentals, all that coming out. And then, he never changed. He played the exact same way in high school that he played in the pros for 12 years. It's the same guy. He's the same guy. Just killing people on the block. Oh my God. I could talk about AD for a while, man. That's one of my guys. And he's still here in DC, man. I see him every once in a while at games.
Tell him I say hello.
I sure will. Dude, Chuck, we could go another 57 minutes and 3 seconds, but I know you got stuff to do, man.
Maybe we should do this on a regular basis, because
anytime, man.
I'm always spilling, because I spill it from the fan seats only. I don't try to impose what I think over anything. But I have great reminiscence of great times following sports, because I wanted to become a sports announcer, broadcaster. Yeah. As mentioned earlier, I grew up on Marv Albert, and wanting to become a sports announcer led me into rap, because it was the same type of,
especially telling the story,
cadence and flow,
cadence and flow, especially Marv Albert on Ranger games.
Yeah.
Because in basketball, it's stop and go. Pull up, pass out to Earl. Turn around, pop. Boom, boom, boom. So you got rhythm.
Yeah.
But Ranger, hockey.
Yeah.
Yo, Marv Albert back in the day, as a young guy doing hockey games on radio, because you got to kind of fill the spaces.
Yeah.
Nothing like it, man. And nobody ever really talks about that, because Marv got so many different legendary things rolling out of him. But Marv Albert, hockey games in the early 70s on radio, influential.
Man,
Yeah, I had no idea.
That is
at all.
That's a. I
The
just
speed.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
speed.
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
in a weird way, since we brothers, we kind of like it was, that was close to being an auctioneer. And because black men were and black people were auctioned, when people say auction, people are like, oh, Sotheby's, and I'd be like,
no, it's not talking about
buddy. That's not the auction. I'll be thinking. I can't even watch the combine because of that. NFL
you know what I'm
saying?
Right. All right.
That's a little close to home. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm gonna walk away from this combine for a minute. Give me your lunch to come on back.
I'm just glad they put shirts on. Remember they do with no shirts? I'll be like, oh, y'all out of pocket now, man. Run
You
this
funny.
40 real quick.
You funny, Marcus, but you right, man. That's facts, bro. That's facts.
Damn. Yeah. I hear you, man. Chuck, man, appreciate you so much. I really do. This has been a delight, man. Anytime you want to come back on, man, shoot.
You get your hopes all the way up, too. This is the year. Get them all the way up. Man, lean in. Let's go.
Look,
I'm enjoying the moment, man. Listen, it's game by game with me. I told everybody when we got Brunson, and I go back and forth with young heads all the time. So there's always like young heads disappointed. They were like, man, Knicks gone to 38 and 44. I'm like, all year I've been 48 and 34 with this one young cat named KG so we go back and forth on the chat, on the Knicks Fan TV chat. And all year, through the ups and downs, 38 and 44, we trash. And I'm like, no, we 48 and 34. But it looks like I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Because,
low side.
Because KG is out of there.
Yeah.
Once we, 2 days ago, I was looking at that. KG is like almost like this, right?
Yeah.
And then we got 38, then 39 and 40. So I'm sidewinded at him, right? But now I'm looking like, whoa, I might be wrong.
Yeah, dude. It's all about who gets hot and who stays healthy this time. And that's it. That's it.
My last note, only thing I'm enjoying every game in the process. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
My last hope that I think what the Knicks should do, be themselves. You're not going to get rid of the jitters. If we can win game ones, we're going to be good. Game ones are everything to us right now.
That's right.
We have no know-how. It's like the unknown, man. So if we win game ones, we're going to be all right. If we don't win game ones, it's gonna be tough.
The microwave turn up a bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No question.
Yo, we win game one of the first series.
Yeah.
It's on.
Jeff Van Gundy used to say this all the time, and he was right. He used to say, you cannot give away any game in a playoff series.
No game.
Not one game.
And Boston and Philly and what's the other team? Boston, Philly, even Milwaukee, and
Milwaukee,
and even Miami.
Yeah,
they all playoff experience. So when they win, they kind of looking at us like, all this jumping up and down for the Knicks. Game ones this year in the playoffs is everything.
Yeah,
we don't win game ones. I think it's just going to be it's tough in New York, man, to try to come back on game twos.
Yeah.
Whether it's home or away.
Right. No, I know exactly what you're saying. Yes.
It's worse if we lose a game one, at home. So it's almost like if we be on the road on game one, it won't be bad, but we got to get that game one, man.
Yeah.
No matter who we play. It could be like the team that comes from the play-in.
No question, because they'll be hot, man. They'll be coming off a win, so, and they'll have nothing to lose.
And DA, a lot of NBA history has been altered by the rules of the day. Back in the day, I'm pulling for the Knicks and we playing the Bulls, but it's a 1 of 3. It's a
them 3-0
mini series.
Yo, man, it's like, how are we gonna do? We got a 50-win team. How are we playing the best 2 out of 3?
Right.
And we lost to the Bulls, David Greenwood's Bulls, man.
Right.
That's just bullshit, man. We won 50 games.
I know.
Didn't the Bullets do that? C. Webb and them, they had a great year.
They got blitzed Chicago by Mike. In that mini-series. No, it wasn't. It was best of 5. It was best of 5 back then.
Which is still like, oh man.
Yeah, but if you lose, like you said, if you lose one of the first 2, You got no
Done.
shot.
Series right there.
no
yeah.
shot.
But I don't root for teams, but I root for cities. So I am rooting. Marcus, there's nothing like playoff basketball in the Garden.
Listen, one of my early
Nothing.
memories when I interned at
Nothing.
Newsday. I interned at Newsday in 1998, and my job, this was back when it was film, was to run the film from the back to the photographers. I just kept having to run it back and forth.
Oh, wow.
Madison Square Garden, Spreewell, like and all.
Yeah.
Yo, I was done at that point. I was like, oh, this is my life right here. It was so insane. Like, it was incredible.
Let me tell you this. If we do win game 1 and it's a home game,
yeah,
whatever first round it is in New York, you're gonna get you might get ticker tape parade. Yo, I'm telling you straight out.
Right.
It will be so bananas.
Yeah.
Post game and in the streets of New York, if we win game 1 of the first rounds of series against anybody,
right.
It's gonna be bananas. And I'm wondering, like, how do we kind of like not get too high? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be it's gonna be bananas. If we win game 1 and the series and it's at home in the first round of the playoffs, that first game will be that first post area game on 7th Avenue between 34th and 35th Street. It's going. They're gonna have to get, like, the police gonna have to clear that whole area because it's gonna be bananas.
No vehicular traffic.
And if we win a series,
and
then win the first game of the next playoff series, I don't even know. They got to just bring NYPD just to secure. Like, listen, we need clearance because other things happen in the city other than these damn Knicks. We got Ranger games tomorrow.
Right.
Not if they win. Ain't gonna be nothing else is happening.
Right.
I want a game 1 win in the finals. I want to see what that's like. I want to see the whole world shake.
It's crazy.
I just want to see what it do.
Know.
I want to see what it do. What happens? Everybody
here's another thing that pops up, right? I know I'm going past the time, but you asked for it, right? New York animosity is like, I'm a world travel, country travel person. Yeah. And I just know, like, and the animosity and just like almost like when you're looking at, I can't watch any sports on TV. I mean, and sports talk on TV because now it's just like so much going on. It's like, I don't even want to watch it. Let's just go. I can go to Knicks Fan TV and keep it there.
Yeah, right.
Because the animosity, man, it's just like it's going to be, and it's all good in the name of the sports thing.
Absolutely.
But it's like, whoa, it's like, can the players handle that? A guy like Josh Hart is like, bring it on. Brunson's going to be like, let's go. You know?
Yeah.
Randall seems to have that extra skin right now. He's like, let's go. And then they just stay tight. And then RJ is going to be all right. Number one, you got to get through the New York stuff. And then the rest of the world's easy. Animosity everywhere else is going to be easy.
Just ask Ed Whitson, right?
That's George Foster.
Yeah, right.
That's George Foster. Right. George Foster was my man. It's like,
it's just not for everybody.
We could name a lot of names that came in the New York on the Greyhound, left on a stray dog.
Right.
Man. Okay, I've done my piece. I can't say no more because I don't want to get myself in trouble. Because usually if I say something outside of my fandom,
right.
Then it's like, man,
I know.
I didn't talk about Trae Young or any of that.
Right.
Then his pops is following me. Yo, Chuck, man, I've been a fan since whatever. So I don't put that stuff out there.
It's best to leave his friends, right?